a look at some of the most exciting plays from the North American LCS so far, both the good, the awesome, as well as the bad. I know I said three things, I'm saying both, but that's okay. Let's get into it already.
Casting.
It's great. I'm going to stick to casting. Let's get started with our Week 5 series between TSM and Team Dignitas. It starts out with Hanser being absolutely incredible at this game.
I mean, this one was great from Hanser, but also Chaser stutter stepped his lost auto. I think he maybe was trying to give over the kill, and then he wanted it so bad. Chases, gives away one, and then the second kill gets corralled in. Pretty brutal.
Yeah, at this point, you can kind of give credit to Svenskeren, an honorable assist, because the Renekton knows, like, I can either give away free gold and assist, or I can do something else. Now we've got more TSM highlights. Svenskeren going hard on the Rengar.
Yeah, this was the second 50-50 that Dig went for in this game. Svenskeren comes up huge for the team on this one, keeping their hopes alive and eventually taking down that series.
Yep, absolutely agree. Now TL versus Cloud9, and ooh, welcome back to the North American LCS Doublelift. I want to point out that Broken Shard was in the building that day. I saw him.
He told us he was bringing NA solo queue to the LCS freak. He did warn us.
It's true. It's a sign of good times to come, man. Broken Shard's team's going to be in the North American promotion tournament as well, so he sends his regards.
And Doublelift take away. Doublelift's going to give us something back here. This was sick. The patience on this fourth shot. The split-second Jensen steps back in. Boom!
Gone!
Shot.
All right, Doublelift sends his regards. Unfortunately, though, it wasn't enough for Liquid to win the series. Spoiler alert, C9 still did win that one. So Jensen got his revenge, but Liquid making an interesting showing with Doublelift here. Now Immortals taking on EnVy here in Game 3 of the series, and the flash engages there.
Yeah, and then
that kick.
Ooh, that was a questionable kick. Kicks him to safety, and then he's not done. He says, okay, my ult's down. Time to 1v1 the Talon. Let's see how it goes for him.
Well, I'm 2 levels down. I got this. Oh, just kidding. I'm bleeding and unlucky. Yeah.
That one was rough.
A little rough.
That one was rough.
Go watch Cloud9 be out some more. Of course, C9 #1 team in the North American LCS right now, and its Impact going super ham under the turret, ignoring basically everything.
Yeah, and I'll let you guys decide. Is this an NA play for one team or the other? I don't know. I mean, Impact played it well.
Bot dive, man.
Didn't do so hot on that dive.
Nope. Meanwhile, more of a re-engage on the mid side. Chrono break, and he's trying to get himself away from it. He's going to do so far. And come back in, wants to get the fighting in. That's a charm, and that's a Rengar. Now the Ez snipe. And this is premier NA plays right there. Sneaky, bringing it from downtown.
That was beautiful, and I think the NA play is really the observers there, because that was great. And then this one is just straight up boosted.
Yeah,
Altek's already dead. He waits his flash to make sure his support also dies there. That one was brutal.
He can just run away and just like, all right, you try to dodge some stuff. Instead, we'll make it both. Unlucky there. So that's when you say lag. It's when you blame the jungler for not ganking. Clearly wasn't any of those players' fault at all. Sorry to Altek Lemon. But of course, be sure to call out your favorite moments from the North American LCS. Tweet us at LOL Esports. Also use the hashtag NALCS so we can find it in the online ether of all the other at LOL Esports tweets. Now let's send it over to our cast to get ourselves into the games.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the highlights of the good, the bad, and the ugly from the NALCS. But let's focus back on this series between EnVy and Team Dignitas. First things first, Keen will pick up player of the game for game #1.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% KP for himself. Almost 1,000 damage per minute. Ridiculous player there in terms of what he was doing. And I love the stream of shuffles. We see so many Azirs, and the most recent ones that I've seen in the NALCS have just been picking it for the late game scaling. Not so much for that sliding in the lane, making sure you shove somebody back into your team. And against the flashless Ninja, he kept doing that and making sure that he would end up being a kill early on.
And he had good support stuff as well. Chaser and Someday were consistently converging together, making sure the play got set up, either covering for something or even adding to the actual engage there itself. So Kane picked up a lot of credit for his individual play and how he played the team fights, but that was a team effort from Dignitas, and a lot of that early game is on the shoulders of those 3 top Koreans.
Yeah, and I think that, like you said, that Trident, as I'm calling it right now, because they have those pincer attacks that just look so good, but they're usually centered around mid. It's honestly so hard to shut down, because when you look at, we've been calling EnVy kind of like the little brother. When you're a little brother, it's like you don't have as much strength in the same places, right? Just has a little bit more oomph in the top lane for Someday versus Seraph. Chaser Lyra is a little bit comparable, but Chaser is honestly synergizing with the team better, and then Keen is just more consistent than Ninja. As you heard in the SOT from Lod, he's played on both of these teams, and he feels as though EnVy has a lot of inconsistency in it.
And I think that's true of their results and also how they've played their games. Again, EnVy with 10,000 gold lead doesn't feel secure, whereas almost any other team would be like, okay, they've got it in the bag. We're going to the next game. Like, EnVy, win and lose very impressively. And, they're a polarizing team for that reason, but getting it together for multiple games in a row, making sure they, you know, take their leads and run away with them. It's been tough for EnVy all season long. You can see where the bright spots are, but they're going to need to rattle off 2 straight now versus Dignitas.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If they lose, their playoff hopes are done, and then they're looking at getting out of relegation, and they have to focus up on that.
Well, we'll see what happens here in game number 2, actually, as we are into draft for this one. Game 1 was a very juicy draft between the 2 coaches. We'll see what happens here again. Once more, the Talon and Jace will be banned by Dig, targeting out Ninja. Same 2 jungle bans there for EnVy. So already in the early stages, we're seeing the exact same things, but Dig, of course, on the blue side, will have to switch up their first few picks here, as they're going to ban away the Rumble again. So sticking with that. I mean, EnVy probably know they actually mix it up. They ban Camille instead, so favoring that champion here. But Dignitas, I mean, Renekton's available. Could go for something else, but
don't think so.
Lulu just seems a little too strong.
Yep, Lulu is the uncounterable S tier at the moment that people consider to be that one and only. Because honestly, it's like, you look at the comparability of a lot of roles, it's like, the reason that LeBlanc was 100% pick ban was because of the fact that nothing else really did what she did, even close to as well as she did it. Whereas Lulu, it's the same thing. Next down the list would be like Karma or Malzahar, but she counters Malzahar. And Karma's just not as effective with a point-and-click instant CC that locks people up.
Well, EnVy do actually go with that dual lane potentially. We've got the Karma and the Caitlyn. We saw it flex in game 1. So we'll see if that happens here again, as there's that Lee Sin locked in. So Lyra could also be pushed down in that jungle pool. That's already effectively 3 taken away with the pick there for Dignitas and the 2 bans on the EnVy side. So we'll see if Lyra does pick up his jungle in the next phase, but we'll see what Dignitas do to round out phase 1 here.
Yeah, if they pick the Echo, then it's pretty much exactly the same picks bans minus the Camille being banned away this time. The Gragas. So most likely top lane for Someday because of the fact they already have a Lee Sin locked in.
Yeah, almost assuredly here, but Someday is, I mean, not too many players have been playing Gragas in the NALCS, either jungle or top. It is a bit more of a top laner, I think, but Someday has impressed me on the champions. So looks like we'll have a tank battle instead. Seraph going with the Shen, decides not to go for a Renekton, and this is a top laner we thought we'd see a whole lot more of, so dropping kind of lower than we might expect in priority.
Yeah, I think that the Shen is typically banned more than anything, and then when it's picked, you have to consider what the matchup is, because it's not just that freebie, right? It has counters to it, where you could be running into a Gangplank. Even some people play Trundle into it and have a good time. But he knows that his matchup is the Gragas, so he's looking at that.
Well, there's Kha'Zix banned for Dignitas, as Ezreal, Varus once more banned for EnVy. Ari also banned by Dig, so staying consistent with their mid lane attack here on Ninja. Karma didn't work out too well for him, even though in theory I liked how they approached that draft, and at least now for Lyra, so he's not going to be pushed too far down and does go for a different jungle here, much more aggressive. Yeah,
it's strange because last time Dignitas was on red side and they banned away Elise Ari instead of Kha'Zix Ari. And I mentioned that Kha'Zix was still up and they didn't want to play it into something like a Lulu because you jump in, you just get polymorphed and you're done. You don't even have a way to get out afterwards. Whereas Elise, I think is a little bit more favorable for Lyra. I think he's definitely more comfortable on that champion. So we'll see what he's able to do in this early game.
A lot more non-committal as well. Insane Hue and Form. Use your ranged abilities there instead, as there's Victor up for Kane. Pretty safe blind pick mid laner. Dignitas are going to have to finish their draft with 1 pick left for EnVy. Kane probably not too afraid of the Karma if that's going to be visited mid again by Ninja. Takes a nice safe pick here, and we'll see how Dig round out this draft. Looks like Lod needs a pick. Does he go back to Jhin? I mean, kind of has to, given what we've already seen, and there's the straightforward pick.
Yeah, helps him with the engage, the disengage. They don't have the same flank from the top side as the Gragas will provide now. Not as much damage in terms of threat, but it will disrupt.
And look, if EnVy want to do what they did last game, they can. If they trust in Hakuo's like damage mid laners, like the Mal's, like the Zarya, they can go for it here. But it does feel like you want to get Ninja onto kind of a beefier carry from that mid lane. Victor's a pretty easy matchup to try and go for, and I like this. Orianna for Team EnVy, really kind of investing more into the mid to late and giving themselves an easy team fight option as well.
Yeah, they literally have 3 shields from 3 different people for Apollo. So Apollo, again, another game where resources will be handed to him via the abilities of his teammates. Can he use them?
Well, did a decent job in game 1, but couldn't convert all the way over. We'll see if he A, gets another early lead, and B, if he can play a little bit tighter in the mid to late game. And that's on the team as well, right? Like, Apollo, yes, he could have played the fights a bit better, but they were difficult fights to try and approach. I think EnVy just slowed down a little too much in the mid game and didn't press their lead and try and siege kind of more clinically, and Dignitas exploited that in the team fight.
Yeah, it's always a really rough situation because you're saying like, man, this guy should have been able to carry more. It's like the guy literally has 5 bags that he has to carry. You handed him 2 of those bags. Why can't somebody else like pick up some of the weight? Criticizing somebody for not being strong enough when they have to carry an unreasonable amount.
And I think, yeah, again, Ninja can definitely add much more damage and teamfight pressure here, as well as that protection. So I like the comp from EnVy. I think Dig have put together a pretty similar look for themselves. Again, I see Someday on kind of these big disruptive champions. Echo, not the tankiest, but he did have some tank items in there and was just weaving in and out of fights. Gragas, much tankier and even more disruptive as a tank.
Yeah, we know that he also likes to roam mid and use the body slam flash early on to help Keen in that mid lane. And against Ninja, as Lod had even said, and playing alongside a very inconsistent mid laner who will sometimes just lose you the game, and their team fighting doesn't seem to be coordinated as much either on EnVy's side.
It's pretty insane to watch Ninja's games where he wins versus when he loses, because his losses, he's just floundering, it doesn't feel like he can do too much, and when he wins, he looks like the star player of his team. So certainly tricky there between the two, but we are going to have a round 2 between Dignitas and EnVy. Can Dig continue their streak and take out another team, or are EnVy going to keep a thin but possible miracle playoff run alive by at least forcing a final game?
It's kind of ridiculous to think about where Dignitas was even just a few weeks ago, because they were a team that was tied with EnVy in the standings for last place. They only had 1 win, and they had 6 losses. In the last few weeks, we talked about since they brought Cop on, they've gone 5-2. But if you go back even just a little bit further than that, they are 6-2 in their last 8 matches. This would make it 7-2, and that would bring their record to 8-8. They would actually have the reverse of how their first half of the split went, and that's incredible to think about. That's an actual just complete turnaround.
Well, certainly in prime position for a top 4 playoff spot at this point for Dignitas.
Currently in 6th, and they could start climbing. And they have one of those medium difficulty to easy difficulty schedules that are remaining.
Well, this should be an easier match. We'll see if they can close it out here, or if EnVy have more games to play for themselves. Again, EnVy really not that much to lose for themselves. The more form they play themselves into, the better. If they can snag in here, they can still run the gauntlet and try and make it through. But at this point, they're also just playing spoiler to a lot of teams. Like, Dignitas are looking, saying, we can now get that top 4 spot. If you cannot convincingly beat EnVy, the top 2 teams are going to look at you and think, okay, they're not a threat. Well, Lyra and Seraph going to start things off. Once again, Lyra getting quite a bit of help in the jungle. Hakuho's Miracle Leash not here this time, but Lyra going to get some good help from the Shen.
That keeps all the Spiderlings alive as well, which helps us clear time. And that's a pretty decent clear for a Raptor camp for Elise. Usually, these little ones like gang up on your Spiderlings when you drop back. So he got a lot of help there, like you said.
Ninja also taking quite a bit of damage already. Not too sure how that happened, but Keen just going to play back and continue to shove the wave.
It's that Deathfire Touch Victor. You take the Q at level 1, and you auto-attack them, and it's Deathfire Touch increases on duration or has full duration if it's a single target spell, as opposed to like a dot or an AoE ability.
Oh no, ignite that onto Xpecial. Hakuho diving in for an EnVy again. Might make the big play in bottom lane. Apollo still firing into Lodge.
It's that level 2 power spike, able to shove up. They used Hakuho on the Karma to shove the wave, which he will shove faster than the Lulu will with the fact that his Q, cooldown, etc. And Xpecial started with E, level 1, instead of going for Q. So wasn't looking for a shove advantage there, it was more looking for just shielding and trading.
Well, they trade Ignite for Flash and Heal as Chaser and Lyra doing battle. Dive in there for Chaser. Lyra with the double buff. So Chaser winning the exchange so far. It's going to be a close one, but there's the Orianna trying to make the difference. Chaser flashes out of the way, and now back in the bottom lane, Lord forced to flash out as Apollo already getting snared. Hakuho is going to get tied up, but Xpecial looking for a great heal from Apollo. He's going to keep him alive, and now Hakuho forced to flash out as well.
Oh, all those summoner spells. Apollo's the only one who didn't have to use his final summoner spell in this bottom lane in this fight here. Some of them were used earlier from Xpecial as well. You think about when he had to flash away previously. It just fights across, but no first blood.
Yeah, been a lot of trading back and forth as Someday does get some nice damage chunked back on the Seraph, who's been aggressively taunting this Gragas in the top lane. And Chaser and Lyra were both down towards the bottom side as well, knowing that there could be more action. Someday another good boop on the Seraph. Follows up with that damage.
Yeah, the wave clear of Shen very low, especially in comparison to the Gragas, who has all AoE abilities in his kit, all 4 of them. So he just constantly shoves passively. And so Seraph's trading a little bit in minion waves too, but he's getting those flask charges out.
Here's Chaser Nice word for EnVy, but Chaser aware of it, going to stay out of Fog of War. Lyra not down here, so EnVy have to play this carefully. You can see Lodnik Special with this likelihood that there's presence here from Chaser are actually pushing the wave back out. Apollo going to eat that dancing grenade there as well. But with the Warlord, should be able to heal up slowly. It's much less effective than it used to be, but eventually if you stay in the lane long enough.
Yeah, it takes like 9 auto attacks, and it also is charged up quite slowly via movement. It's like every 300 units you move, you get 10. So, have to wait. Lyra, Blast Cone's over though. No Chaser here.
Yeah, jungler's trading places, and now Lyra's in prime position for a gank. Special already slow. He's going to get Cocoon. That's a bit of lockdown, and first blood goes to Hakuo. Now Lod going to get dove here perhaps, but Lyra already used the repel.
Yep, looked like they decided to go for a split there. Hakuo may have been able to get the root, and so Lyra just threw out the Cocoon just in case. Maybe they could have gotten 2, but I'm not going to blame them too much for that, because they get another kill in the bottom lane to Hakuo.
Yep. Once again, I think that's his second first blood in many games. So now the tower's going to take some damage as a result. Chaser had to leave because he was falling behind, but really good presence there from Lyra. And now going to zone a lot off this turret. Is EnVy going to push this wave in and try and deny maybe a few more creeps?
Gotta get Chaser down here to make sure they push it out. Teleports top lane, and Seraph, he'll be 6 relatively soon, about halfway there.
Yeah, both used already. Someday gets that card to the closet shield after body slamming Seraph. Both TPs have been used, so it's double Doran's Corrupting Potion versus Doran Shield, Null Magic Mantle, Ruby Crystal with a potion there for Seraph, but don't expect too much to change here in the tank battle, although Someday to his credit is about 15 CS ahead, so
yeah. Able to pick up most of that from just farming and pushing him in, whereas Seraph, it's so hard as a Shen in the very early parts of the game to go against a ton of AoE. Just kind of just have auto attacks. That's why a lot of people will rush Tiamat, or they'll try to go for the Bomby Cinder as soon as possible for at least some wave clear. Whereas this Shen, he's looking for magic resistance. He's looking for Spectre's Cowl.
Yep, just wants to make sure he doesn't get too pressured by Someday in the 1v1.
And big thing on pressure here is Lyra. Backs, Moby Boots first, Dark Seal. So you know he's roaming and looking for kills. Looking for conflict.
Lyra and Chaser stepping their way in. Scry's Bloom popped. No ward spotted as the Blast Cone's going to get Lyra quickly up to this top lane. Hakuo is here as well, so EnVy are trying something here.
Dig is too. Dig actually has their bottom lane here too.
Someday gets taunted. Bluxton going to come into Seraph, but Lyra leaps in. Someday flashes out to safety. And Special there with the extra shield just in case.
Oh, so close as well. He gets multiple shields. The heal there as well to keep him alive. And that was just the surprise attack.
And again, Dignitas, I think, getting out of this lane faster this time around. Hakuo got first blood, like, nope, we're getting out.
But good roam from Hakuo to go to the top side of the map. Special and Lod both actually roamed to the top side. That was a 4-man that was kind of converging there. And now they're going to send Someday to the bottom side of the map. Whereas Apollo's kind of working on this turret. He won't get it down close enough, though.
Probably safe for Apollo to be here 1v1, though. Does have a pickaxe already, and a healthy CS lead on Lod. Good Q there from Hakuo, but responded nicely by Special Shield. Keen and Ninja pretty even in CS here. Keen should catch up as he takes this wave, and blue for the victor means that it shouldn't be too difficult, although is still looking for that first augment. Has not got a shop in just yet.
Sitting on a lot of gold, whereas Ninja will pick up a lot for himself there in the inventory. 2,000 gold, though, for Keen. So he'll pick up an augment, probably boots and some more.
There you go. There's augment number 1, and there's those boots that you talked about. Good math there, Zyrene.
Null Magic Mantle as well, I guess.
Keen making sure he gets everything he needs. Someday pops the Scry's Bloom. Chaser onto the red buff now. Get himself that one nice and simply, and we'll see where the action does continue. EnVy have pulled their duo lane fully up to the top side now, so Apollo just took the free damage and the farm that he could get and is now pressuring a different turret. Lod's going to rejoin him here with a serrated Dirk and a longsword. Apollo doesn't have the BF sword he had early on in game number 1, but should still have an advantage here.
Yeah, he's pushing for that pickaxe just for turret damage as soon as possible. He backed with about, I think, 1,000-ish gold, so might as well. And then he picked up boots and a dagger.
And Lod again, you can just see the damage that Caitlin's able to dish out early. They were actually here for a dive, so this is dangerous for Dignitas. Cocoon's going to miss, but he forces a flash. Chaser up here, though.
They have no minions, though.
Here comes the turn onto Apollo, going to try and make it happen. Lyra repels back down, but it got cancelled, I think, by Sarah. Just a bit of a shield there. Blast going out after the flash, but Keen's here first. Able to collapse down. Ninja able to run Apollo out to the top.
Yeah, it looks like a ultimate was thrown from Someday to interrupt the ultimate of Seraph and make sure that doesn't go through. Could have been a turnaround there, but good from the, I guess, the top laners who are in the bottom to actually stop that from going.
Yeah, Someday continuing to assert some dominance here. LCS is back up to wave, and in fact, Seraph should be ahead as he takes this wave. Someday again playing up, keeping Seraph out for as long as he can, but that Spectre's Cal is going to make Someday's harass pretty moot here, as we should see that lane equalize.
Lyra looking for another repeat top. Lyra's early pressure is just relentless here. They have a control ward in this top side bush. They'll hang out in it for now. Chaser's actually going to try to simultaneously go around. Now they're going for lock.
Yeah, they've got no flash, so they're going to go in for it. Does damage is there as Lyra able to take him down. Hakuo low, but the TP in from Someday has to be cancelled there. There's just nothing left.
Big advantage there for EnVy. They get the kill. That one ends up going over to Lyra. So now he has the 2 stacks. He has a decent amount of gold to get him out of that trough of having no extra AP. And I think that this is also big because the teleport. Seraph will have 2 globals by the time that Someday still is sitting on 0 and doesn't have his TP back up.
Apollo again can just safely push this in. Special clearing it out as fast as he can, but Apollo's just going to shoot him. Special's only level 5. Good trap attempt there from Apollo, but doesn't latch onto Special. Headshot there. Going to continue annoying the Lulu. Special out of mana, going to have to go back. And Lod walks back to a lane that he knows just isn't very much fun right now.
I just think the control warding from EnVy is better than Dignitas's in this early part of the game. They got control of the top bush, they got control of the jungle on the top side, whereas you can see Dig really focused on mid lane. They're really focused on keeping Keen safe, and that's what they did last game, is they actually shut down Ninja. He started the game 0-3, and like right now, not enough control. Lyra spots Someday.
Ninja's here, doesn't commit the shockwave yet. Someday body slams out of the way, but there's the shockwave back in. Lyra able to lock him down a little while longer, and Someday just doesn't have a flash to go.
Yep, didn't have it for about 2 more seconds there. He dies and it immediately ticks back up.
Nice timing there from EnVy. Actually thought he had it, just didn't have a chance to use it, but managed to get it down. And that'll be a nice little kill over to EnVy. Lyra picking up yet another one here, so at least get some early damage and can start to snowball these lanes. We'll watch it again. Not quite sure if he had it, but Someday certainly caught here.
No, he doesn't have it. I'm looking at it on my live right here. You can see just barely doesn't have it. But yeah, comes up as soon as that happens.
Bad timing there for Someday.
Yep.
EnVy though, take advantage, managed to get the kill for themselves. And again, I think I like this plan for EnVy. You know, split the mid lane a little more, play it safe, hammer the strong side of your map, because you know Apollo's likely going to lead an advantage in this 2v2. And as long as the rest of the map stays safe, it should be fine. Lyra's at it again. Here's Seraph. He's going to kick it back in. Execute with the Dragon's Rage. That play went wrong very fast.
Yeah, that also got the ultimate out of Seraph, and now Chaser's going to look for more.
Chaser early flash. He really wants to try and
they
get
don't
this
have
kill.
flashes.
Headshot down, gonna slow down Chaser, but Apollo's gotta be careful. Good dodge there out of the Q, and now Hakuo gonna lock down Chaser. Jukes again out of the deadly flourish from Apollo.
They stayed too long. Ninja is about to come up. We'll see.
Just has his ultimate ready. Dignitas back away to their turret, so Paul Lyra gets himself assassinated. But EnVy don't lose anything else.
Yep, loses those stacks on the ring. Unlucky, but that's what you do when you have those Moby boots. You have like no tankiness, not for a long time.
Keen, really nice awareness. Ninja a little too far forward where he doesn't want to be. So he gets it back in, looks for the assist, and Keen just needs a little more damage. Flashes over, gets him with the body slam.
Ninja had flash as well, and then some days like, all right, we're going in. That's again, man. Now that's not even like a trident. That's just a pitchfork. That's just 2.
Someday.
Got him with the what is that called? It's like the ones that farmers
cost?
the hay.
Oh, the hay.
Yeah.
Like the bale?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the
2 pronged one.
I have no idea.
Unlucky. It's just a fork. We'll call it
Yeah,
that.
that's what I
He
thought.
got forked.
Well, again, creative play there from Someday, continuing to roam up and try and support Keen. I mean, Ninja took a pretty greedy path back to his lane. Keen able to capitalize here.
Yep. Really, really greedy. He has flash too. Could have used it there. Didn't think he was going to take as much. And Lyra was in the vicinity, so that may have given him some confidence. But
ooh, locked up on the blast code. Hakuo takes down Chaser.
This is where you start building AP, Hakuo. You got to do it. I don't want to see any of those support items come through.
Be the carry your team needs. Apollo also stacking up, so looks like first turret is once again going to go over to Apollo. He might even get solo gold, although Hakuo going to join him for a bit of bonus. But Apollo collecting the lion's share of the gold. Lyra, ooh, Not quite caught. Whimsy down. Repels over to the Grump, and the bottom lane's here to make sure it's all safe. Lodnik special. Nice try on the pick, but that's all they can really do. They have to react to the pressure that EnVy's duo lane is putting out.
Yep, it's another 3,000 gold lead here for EnVy in the early game, and just pressure from the bottom side. Hakuo and Lyra, really the big facilitators of the action. Lyra, 100% KP, constant revisits. Like, this is, when you look at the way Lyra jungles, this is like the best way to jungle in solo queue. You get the flash, or somebody in that lane gets the flash, go 2 times. It's like, do your route, gank twice, back. Do your route, gank twice, back. And Lyra does this constantly.
Still managed to keep up in farm as well. And like I said, if that's the plan here for EnVy, if they're going to just hammer the lane they have an advantage in, as long as the other lanes play safe, they're fine. And apart from Ninja's earlier mishap with Someday roaming up, it's actually been a lot easier for him in the mid lane, because that was a huge problem in game 1.
Yeah, they've been able to keep the pressure off of him, make sure that Someday, you know, can't really roam as much. Seraph now has a little bit more roaming power with the double global, so I think the Shen is a good fit. But the bottom lane is just completely tied up, and Chaser has to keep going to that bottom lane, and the Moby Boots gives Lyra a tempo advantage over him. Lyra cleared his jungle, now going to stick by the bottom lane, and we'll see if he ganks twice.
Polo scaling up again. And I think trying to speed the siege up a little more now. This is kind of what was missing from EnVy's mid game in game 1.
Yep. Now Lyra going to attack the turret.
Oh, not yet. Has to get out.
Yeah, Chaser's off on the side, so they're a little bit wary of picking this one up. But they have eyes on both the mid laner and
Cocoon.
Oh, they want the jungle.
Snare's good. That's going to be a kill. Hakuo on a killing spree now.
AP, let's go. He got the full Eye of the Watcher already. He's got it right now. Let's go.
I mean, Apollo also gets the turret, so EnVy starting to siege what they need to here. We'll see if they keep pressuring the side waves. They're going to push this one out. And then maybe pings onto mid means EnVy do want to try and take that down. Lyra ready for another gank. Keen has to play safe here.
Yeah, so does Xpecial on this entrance here, because he's running up, trying to keep him safe.
He's been spotted. Doesn't get cocooned. But EnVy are going to move everyone else around. Hakuo can also just throw Qs onto Keen very annoyingly through the Raptor Pit, but they might instead collapse onto the Cloud Drake. Apollo looking for the angle. Instead decides to roam down and maybe get a pick here with his support. That control ward's not yours to take, Xpecial. EnVy protecting their territory.
Yeah, it could be soloed away. The Cloud Drake doesn't have the splash damage, has the single target, and you can see Lyra had about maybe 1 or 2 hits, go for his Spiderlings, and then swap off on each one. So you can see he's definitely well-versed in Elise.
Something looks comfy as we watch this again. Chaser just can't afford to be here.
Yeah, I don't know if he has an exit ward. He doesn't have a ward that sees over that wall, so it's just like a really dangerous place to be. Everybody's been in that situation where you're clearing the ward and you feel like you're in a bad spot. You're just like, I have 3 seconds, I need to get out. Oh, turns out I only had 2. Unlucky.
Yep. You're in too deep already. You're committed. The controller's got 1 hit left. You're like, it's worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, went over to the support. 3-0-1 for Hakuo, but 2-1-3 for Lyra. And this is the combo right here. These are the guys who are synergizing quite well, which is interesting to see because the Korean-speaking top half of the map and the English-speaking bottom half, and it was a problem that EnVy had last split, where they would always play to Seraph. It was just Seraph, Seraph, Seraph every gank from Proxin at the time. It was just keep going top. Now, Lyra seems to be focusing on the bottom side of the map.
Certainly working out nicely here. As Seraph, again, just pressuring onto Someday. Does have a slight CS lead. The Tiamat will help Shen continually push down that lane. Someday not really in danger of dying, because he's got that Spirit Visage already built up, but EnVy definitely starting to really take over this bottom side of the map, and a very strong gold lead. 4,000 at this stage of the game is pretty large.
Yeah.
And Apollo's only getting stronger.
Yeah, a lot of that gold advantage is 1,500 for Apollo, and then it's the jungle 1,300, and then the support role. Let's go. 1,300 for Hakuo.
And again, Kane, not the same playmaking that he does on the Azir. His team fight should look very good once they get there, but EnVy are really dragging out this game and trying to seed for as long as they can. I mean, a lot is a level down to Apollo, who doesn't even have his Infinity Edge just yet. It should just be a continued siege here, and maybe even a dive from EnVy.
Gank number 2.
Oh, and Lod took a big chunk of damage there from Hakuo's Q. Cocoon doesn't connect, so not able to convert for that kill, but headshot down onto Lod, forcing the wild growth there from Xpecial.
And the heal from Lod as well. So that's also going to force them back. You can see Apollo 4 points into his Peacemaker this time, and now he's going for traps. So he hit a little bit of a better stride, I think, where you're hitting mid-game and you have max traps as opposed to putting the 5 points in there. Now he's at level 11. He'll get another rank inside of his ultimate, and then I believe at 12, he'll actually have that final point.
We'll see kind of how this all works out for Apollo. Still a while to go for that Infinity Edge, but again, Caitlyn has all this time to really farm up for those 2 items and then start to get stronger. Protection also there from Ninja onto Lyra. It's a very speedy Elise. Maybe Boots plus the Cloud Drake with a bit of speed from either Karma or Orianna. Lyra can book it between these lanes, and this is going to be a tower to EnVy.
And I like this, that EnVy, from like what you would conventionally do is you go bottom, get that turret, go top, get that turret. Someday, ooh, that's a desperate play there. But yeah, you usually just go for those outers. Because it's a damn Victor in the mid lane with the wave clear, you need to stay away from it for now. Now that you have that tier 2 down, there's easy flank routes into the mid lane. This turret is already about half HP. That's your next target here if you're EnVy. You start setting up traps here. You don't care too much about the Victor wave clear. You'll walk up, get a few shots. And now that the TP is down, TP flanks aren't as big of an issue. So I think that EnVy, regroup, start looking at this part of the map if they want to keep that tempo up.
Yeah, and again, this seems like a much cleaner execution of this mid game for EnVy. Plan was very much the same that it was in game 1. And the game even started a similar way with Hakuo getting first blood. It just feels like EnVy have cleaned it up here. Off to a substantial lead now in this game. And 20 minutes in with the Infernal Drake coming up in just a couple.
And I think this might be Infinity Edge completed. There we go. Infinity Edge completed for Apollo. So he's at his 2-item power spike compared to where Lot is right now, where he has 1,000 gold in his inventory. So he'll have another piece of what he's looking for. Either it's the Duskblade and he needs, actually to get a BF sword, which he can't afford, or he's going for the Edge of Night, which will require a pickaxe. But usually the lethality build, you're like, oh yeah, it's a faster build. Not in this case. Caitlyn's crushing it.
Yeah, and again, just the lead that Apollo has individually is insane. Almost 2,000 gold over Lord as they are looking for that mid lane turret. If they can get a dive onto Kayn, that'll be an easy way to take the turret, but they can start the siege here. Infernal Drake up in 1:35. EnVy, the timing is just so much better because they've played a cleaner mid game and got themselves an even bigger gold advantage.
And I think they're playing around Apollo better too. You even think about how they gave him first turret gold, the 650 just solo. That's a large part of this lead on top of the 50 CS that he's up. Doesn't really have kills to his name, right? It's that support and the jungler on EnVy that do. So they're playing around Apollo and using him better, and now they're shoving out bottom. I assume you get control of this bottom side and go mid, and you make sure that you have Infernal Drake control for the next minute.
Kayn's actually not that safe where he's standing right now. I mean, Dignitas are trying to get behind the mid lane, but getting cut off by EnVy as they move through the jungle. Lyra, one Cocoon could spell disaster here for this mid lane, and they can even try the siege here. They think they've got a good enough angle. Especially trying to clear out these wards, and he will get this one, but Hakuo is just laying into him with the damage.
And now everybody's mid. This is actually get crazy.
Oh, really good snare. Kick back there from Chaser. Wildgrowth's going to knock him up, and Ninja actually flashed out of the way. Seraph with a fast ultimate might turn it around. Kayn locked up there after the Cocoon. Got taunted by Seraph there as well. Apollo not there. He went to push bottom lane, and now he's kind of cut off here.
Yeah, this was what was so interesting about that fight is Apollo decided to go bottom to shove a wave all the way into the bottom inhibitor turret, which is a little questionable because you'd think they want to go mid, but he just wanted even more pressure on that bottom side.
Well, EnVy kind of let up in mid lane a bit. Kayn did not die though, so Dignitas should be able to protect this mid lane turret, and now the teamfight's going to feel a little more even. EnVy don't have that many cooldowns to play with.
And this is going to really suck for EnVy too, because the fight is coming in. Someday has not gone to the top side. He has a long wave, or a long lane that can just have that wave pushed in, so he doesn't have to use his teleport to get here, whereas Seraph, he'll have to use his teleport to get down there. He used his Stand United. We'll see if they even want this.
I don't think EnVy can buy enough time for Seraph's ulti to come back down. Someday, not going to get the ulti onto Lyra. Hakuo going to keep him safe with the shield.
Yeah, they actually haven't grouped up fast enough on Dignitas' side to look at this objective. So he'll have to back, he'll have to go top and clear it, and this gives Seraph advantage now. So it's those windows that I'm talking about, and that's even worse, because now it'll probably be Keen that goes top side, and now you don't have a TP on this side of the map and can't join, so now you just give Infernal up.
Yep, I mean, good opportunity for the mid-outer as well, but EnVy just take the simple objective. Blue Finger goes down. Lyra does have smite, excuse me, and Lot is trying for a steal, I think.
Don't do this, observers.
Oh!
So, the crazy thing is a lot of the times we have 5-second delays.
Yep.
And like we're actually just completely live right now. Like this is insane. The observers, shout out to them because they just saw him posturing for it, and he just picks it up too. There's a control ward in there. That's ridiculous.
Lyra had smite, and he used it. I was like, maybe he doesn't use smite.
Yeah, that's
he used it.
That's blind, man. That's actually just blind
Well, Dignitas, once again, get the second Drake of the game, and it's an Infernal Drake.
Yep.
The trend continues.
And then the next one's Ocean, so there's no time that's going to be evened up anywhere short. And that's exactly what they needed, because if you just go off of like pure raw values on something like a Jhin and a Victor, which naturally has higher AP than other mid laners because of his Hex Core being a ridiculous item, that's a super worth Drake right there to pick up.
All right.
Dignitas.
Well, EnVy can't let it get to them. I mean, mentally, more than anything else, I feel like you're just like, oh, come on, man. We set that up so perfectly, but put it out of your mind, keep playing your game. EnVy still have a massive lead in this game, so they have to stick to the plan they've set for themselves.
And EnVy, they kind of battle themselves on these timers, and that's what I really dislike, is that they keep fighting themselves instead of just fighting the map and fighting the enemy team, where now there's opportunities where Ninja's out of position because they didn't rotate mid, and Apollo wanted to clear another wave bottom. It's like, why isn't Apollo mid? Why aren't you sieging this half HP turret? You can go ahead and, I don't even care if you 1-3-1 and put your Orianna on the side, that's fine. But Caitlyn just has so much power in the traps that you pull somebody to at least step on the traps, some type of tank, somebody to soak the damage so you can clear out that area. But this middle turret is still standing, and that's what's really frustrating. It's a Victor, and I understand that, but there are ways that you can pressure that down, and they just aren't going for it.
I think that's the tough thing, is that their best opportunity to take that turret was when Keen was forced to go top, and instead they went for the Infernal Drake, which was a fine call at the time, but then they didn't get it, so...
Well, you know when Ninja got chunked out mid? Keen also got chunked out, right? But Apollo wasn't there. If Apollo was there, it's a different fight. It looks completely different, and Keen has to back, and that's their wave clear gone.
I mean, I think it speaks to the level of investment EnVy are putting into Apollo this game. He almost has 300 CS at 25.5 minutes. I mean, Lot does have his Dust Blade, but Apollo is quickly closing in on his rapid fire cannon. And EnVy are still trailing their marksman as well, making sure Caitlyn stays safe and trying to siege down this tier 2 in top lane.
There's the point in the game where instead of going and just like feeding and funneling resources into your Caitlyn, you have to have your Caitlyn give back. He has to give back in these macro plays. Use the Caitlyn to get yourself mid-turret, and now it's going to take him forever to even go after something like top turret. Now it just feels like they're trying to get Baron control on EnVy's side, which is like, you have a tier 1 turret still up, and you have about a 6,000 gold advantage.
Well, Apollo is going to go back, and I think he's got his rapid fire finish as he does get the item, so that should make sieging a whole lot easier. Seraph still tying up Someday here on the bottom side, almost level 16 for both these top laners, so...
Yeah, and I'm not seeing a lot of proactive plays from EnVy with Seraph stand united. It's defensive plays. And that's what's so frustrating about this team, is I'm seeing them get that early lead, and then they're like, okay, we did it. That's not how you win the game. The game, League of Legends is over with a 6,000 gold lead, then great, they'd be a wonderful team, but you have to kill that Nexus. You have to start closing out. And it just seems like a struggle for them, even when they have these leads that other teams will operate with. And that's why we're seeing them at the bottom of the standing.
Well, we'll see. 6,500 gold up still for EnVy. The one mishap on Infernal Deck does cost them a decent amount, but they've still got pressure. They still have a lead, and they're kind of resetting the map for themselves. Dig seem pretty happy with the pace of the game, but Dignitas are a team that we've said do play fairly reactively, particularly when behind, and they're good at winning team fights and kind of playing 5v5 well, but they're certainly, right now at least, not pressuring any sort of advantage or trying to find a pick. They're just happy to let the game scale out. But if they lose too much, that's not going to work against EnVy this time.
Yeah. And now they're clearing out all the vision. This is systematic now from EnVy. And now they're going to put traps in this choke point, I believe, is what Apollo should be doing. He's got 3 on the top. Where is he putting the other 2?
Got 1 there on the right-hand side, so maybe just going to set up 1 more. You got 4 or 5? I think 5 at max rank.
Yeah, he's got 5.
Okay, well, 1 more to go for Apollo, I think. You can see Special just to the right of that one there. Does clear out some more vision. Again, Dignitas are doing a nice job knowing that EnVy want to go for the Baron, keeping vision around the area. There's Apollo, though, all set up now. Although we did actually move 2 over.
Yeah.
Look at the changing sides.
It's,
like,
it's in the
I want to
order.
go this way.
It's in the order you place them down. It's unlucky.
He'll be right. He'll get them. All right, now mid lane turret. I mean, he's got a rapid fire cannon. He's got a bunch of shields. He took a turret here, but it doesn't matter too much. And EnVy with the siege prowess of the Caitlyn, able to take down the mid outer turret. And that's the thing, right? I think EnVy felt that, you know what? We did make a mistake, but it wasn't a huge one, and we can still get this turret later.
Yep. They did it. They finally got it. And you could see there, Keen really didn't have much to say about that. Even though he's the victor, it's still... Wave clear is wave clear, but it's not enough to actually just destroy cannon minions too at the same time.
Yeah, Dignitas are still really far behind, so struggling to kind of find their way out at least of this section of the game. And with that, I mean, where did EnVy go next? They've opened up the map. Tier 2 mid looks obvious. You could take the top as well.
Yeah, I think now it's Ocean into Baron contest into mid and top. Take control of mid-top jungle. Bottom lane is one that's Seraph. I feel like he has just control over this lane, and he will for the foreseeable future. And he has the double globals. So, like, just leave Seraph on the island and go get your Ocean Drake. Go get your control of that top jungle and make sure that your mid and your top are pushing.
Yep, Lyra going to take it as well. We got top side for Apollo, who has that Vamp Scepter also built in, so Caitlyn is feeling very healthy. Just chilling out in the side lane. Drake goes over to EnVy.
Yeah, Someday didn't even want to see that Drake go down. It's the Scryer's Bloom in the opposite direction.
It's too painful. Oh, Apollo getting covered by Chaser. Nets his way out. Chaser, though, not committing too hard. Apollo doing a nice job dodging a potential kick flash, but not a whole lot of Dignitas around to try and convert that play. And again, EnVy, now nice and healthy. He'll have to kill Apollo in one fell swoop because he has so much life steal built up now. And again, with all the protection that he's got here, Apollo's level 16. Damn, he has been on the side waves. As Chaser looks for Hakuo. Jin ultimate, he's going to tag the last bullet onto Hakuo, but Apollo's not doing too much damage right now.
2 levels down on Apollo. Apollo's just picking up so much. Almost Flame Horizon, almost at that 100 up. Gigantic advantage for him, but it's that slow. It's not that Playmaker, man. That's not how Apollo really thrives on that high risk. It's just the strangle strategy, where now they're at about an 8,000 gold lead. So it's been increasing.
I mean, Apollo's having a great time, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
He's just free farming away.
His highest gold in the game, 13,000.
I mean, he's a long-time player. This is a very old-school 80 carry strat. You just give them as much farm as possible.
It's the Caitlyn strat. Just starve everybody out. Use the traps. There they go.
See if they can make it work. Baron is getting started here, but EnVy not overcommitting for it. Again, forcing Dignitas to go through their traps.
Scuttles up.
Probably want to try and take that if they can. Gravity fielded. Does go over to Lyra. Good smite from the Elise. Now EnVy going to reset. Dignitas just have to back off here. Don't want to face check. Got a safe tier 1 turret to fall back to as well here, so not a whole lot going on right now. EnVy again just running Dignitas around. I mean, Someday getting some work done on these almost perma-slows from the Gragas. Keeping him down, but Seraph just going to walk away. Still a little too tanky for that.
Yeah, they'll just fight each other forever. And it's the Grasp of the Undying for Seraph. Heal him up versus that's the happy hour from Someday. That'll keep healing him up. It really gets you nowhere.
And you do need to spend that gold, however. They've got about 6,000 gold that's left unspent. Oh, a good cocoon onto Kane. Shockwave lands in, and Ninja lands the assassination.
Yep, caught out there. And no help at all. And that's kind of the risk that he's taking while walking up. He has the Lich Bane, so EnVy, it's like, why are you letting this guy hit your turret? Lyra with a good flank on the opposite side from where all the vision is from EnVy too, so it's a strange gank route that catches them off guard, and now they're going to have to sack the Baron. They're looking for a possible kill onto Seraph and a bot lane turret.
This isn't a great trade, but at least it's something, I suppose. Baron going to go over, quickly leaves Seraph there as Someday gets the kill, so assistance comes out from Jin. They might get the turret here as well, but EnVy easily claimed the Baron after killing Keen.
Yeah, they're going to have to pick this up with pretty much just Someday. It'll take a while, though. Whereas Apollo buff these minions up, continue to push, and he's got 2 attack speed items at this point in the game. Level 17, he is just destroying LoD in CS. 100 up now.
I mean, funnily enough, it's actually been a very low-kill game.
Yep.
6-3. Apollo has 1 assist.
Hey, you can't throw at team fights if you don't have them.
I see. Well, there's a full mortal reminder now finished for Apollo. So EnVy go back. They spend all of their gold, and now the gold lead is much more reflective of how far ahead EnVy are. 10,000 gold ahead at 33 minutes.
It was just a straight-up full mortal reminder. He didn't have any components or anything.
I wasn't kidding when I said they had 6,000 unspent gold on the team. It was probably 7 or 8 by the time they finally went back. But EnVy, they play it right, they get the pick on the King, they take the Baron, and are now in a position to force a final game here. It's been a quiet game for EnVy, for a team that usually surges ahead in the early game. But again, I just feel like they executed the game 1 plan much better. Yeah,
what they did is they got themselves that early lead, Lyra, Hakuo, ganking over and over again and killing people like Chaser, making sure they catch them out. Most recent kill was that one on Keen in the mid lane off the Cocoon with the pick. So EnVy, instead of having team fights, they're just kind of splitting the map, using the Caitlyn, which they should have used in the first game, better because they're actually just moving Apollo around the map instead of putting him up in fights that are higher variance.
Yeah, unfortunately for Seraph, he doesn't have Baron buff now, so his split push pressure isn't quite as effective, but EnVy's pressure on the rest of the map is more than adequate here as they take down a tier 2 turret for themselves. We'll see how much damage they can do with 1:40 left on Baron.
Yep. Next goal is get into the base, and I think Apollo, it shouldn't be as hard as they sometimes demonstrate it to be. You put the traps down and you go between mid and top. Mid is now getting pushed in. Chaser looking to possibly kick Ninja back. He's got a ward over the wall.
I mean, Seraph's got ulti, so I'm not really sure this play's going to work too
it's
well.
so hard to actually do and get away with it too.
Sunday looking to collapse now. Dignitas going to try the play. Ulti finds Ninja, but Seraph gets the ulti down. Now the rest of EnVy coming over. Especially already chunked out. Sunday low, flashes out of the way, but Apollo firing out as the turret goes down. Gravity Field will snare up the Caitlyn, but EnVy just have too much protection for their carries.
Yeah, Keen has to go to the top side now, clear this out. Wave is on that
Apollo is in there! Straight onto Lot, wanted to take him down.
That's what I like to see, though. I like to see him go straight forward, pushes the 80 carry off. Now there's no team fight that could possibly happen.
They got the turret instead.
This may be a game that actually ends without a 5v5.
Maybe. I mean, Dignitas at some point have to go here, but EnVy have just compounded such a ridiculous lead that I don't know if Dignitas can offer much resistance. This turret's going to fall down as well. Still 30 seconds left on the Baron. Looks like they might try and take this inhibitor, and they might even get bottom lane as well. We'll see how greedy EnVy are feeling. They are going to try and take this. Apollo dodging everything. Ulti out from King, ulti from Someday, and now EnVy have an easy team fight to just clean up here. Seraph tanking on the front lines, getting the shield.
Ninja.
Good kick there from Chasers. He does get Ninja, but Apollo just firing away. He does so much damage in this fight. Gets himself Whimsy. King is going to blow him up, and Apollo goes down. Dignitas hold in the mid lane.
You gotta be kidding me. Again, it's a team fight. The first team fight that we really see in the game, and Dignitas come out on top just barely. They push them away. It's a 2 for 2, though, so when you look at all the kills, Elder Dragon on the table, but they keep their inhibitor alive.
Heroics from Chaser, I think, saved the start of that fight. I thought 2 ultis missed, and they were done.
Yeah, Apollo, honestly, like, I feel Ninja too far forward after this. Apollo gets knocked out, and then they collapse in. Watch Ninja's positioning. He walks into the gravity field. What are you doing? He gets kicked in, he gets crit, he gets destroyed. Chaser sacrificed himself for that. He does the Lee Sin thing that you're supposed to do. His last shot almost hits Hakuo, but then Apollo gets killed because Keen walks up to 1v1 the 80 carry, and he gets the help of Xpecial with the Whimsy. Just ridiculous. That should not be happening. Ninja has to watch his feet.
No frontline left there. You can see how much damage Keen did in that last team fight. EnVy, critical error almost at the finish line. They only get one inhib out of the deal. They should be able to take Elder Dragon relatively easily. But Dignitas are going to try and fight them for it. We'll see how slow EnVy want to play around this objective. It is not time to get antsy and play the game too quickly. EnVy have to keep composure here. You can see red pings on the top lane. EnVy no.
It's a gigantic
Just wait.
wave. They have to go clear it. But the fight is what Dignitas want. Yeah, someday we'll have to back soon and possibly deal with that. He's the one who has teleport.
Apollo's booking it. He's actually finished his Mercurial Scimitar, so full build Caitlyn with effectively a Flame Horizon now on Lod, sitting pretty much 100 CS up. EnVy going to start the Elder Dragon. Dignitas, this could be their only chance to try and contest for it.
Chaser's down in level, so it's a stronger smite for Lyra.
All right.
They're going to try now. He's going to throw away the shots. If he gets that 4th shot, it's a lot of damage that he can hit the Drake with.
He tags it. EnVy back away. Really smart stuff there, just making sure Chaser can't get in. Last shot goes out. EnVy should be able to take this Q again, but they take it down. Chaser just can't get in the pit.
Ooh, couldn't get in there, and that's exactly what they needed on EnVy's side. Help close the game out. This is what Elder Dragon was made for, man. It's made for teams that have an advantage like this that, you know, you can't keep killing elemental drakes all game.
I mean, there's not much left for Dignitas to defend. Shots should do significant damage. I mean, even the little hurricane bolts from Apollo are going to apply the true damage. So this inhibitor, not long for this world, will go down. We'll see if EnVy just try and do it. Yep, systematically. Straight to bottom lane. Just close the game out nice and slowly.
Yeah. I think they have an understanding of what they should be doing. It's just always how they should be doing it and when they should be doing it. It seems to be a little bit off. They're playing super safe, not allowing for team fights to really happen. I think like they've lost pretty much All right, gone even in, I guess, the only team fight that's happened in this game. Gone even with a gigantic gold advantage, which I would personally consider a loss.
I mean, even though we're late into this game, almost 40 minutes in, EnVy is still just absurdly far ahead.
It's disgusting. It's 15,000 gold ahead. Lyra, the guy to set most of this up alongside Hakuo, who now has a decent amount of items to his name. Going to be helping out with the attack speed and the extra damage for Apollo, the Ardent Sensor.
It should be academic for EnVy. All they have to do is be patient. I mean, they can take Baron now as well if they really need it, but they're going to have the super minion pressure in 2 different lanes. Just don't get caught.
Yeah, if you can get the bottom lane, then that's definitely the nail in the coffin. Gets you Baron pretty much for free.
Yeah, now Keen has to leave, so this should be EnVy moving forward, doing a little bit of chip. Waves aren't syncing up. Digger doing a good job, again, buying time, pushing the waves out, but at some point this pressure mounts up and Dignitas have to make one of 2 what should be bad choices for them. Even now, Apollo stepping up. I mean, no minion wave, but just getting a little bit of damage down is enough. Now the turret's going to start taking a bit more significant damage.
I like those sweepers. They were sweeping out the E's from the Jhin, making sure that they don't kill the minions because they do a lot of damage and they always blow up on those minions and clear them out. So just trying to stop the wave clear.
Bit more patience required for EnVy. Still have Elder Dragon for a little while longer. Probably only going to last this wave. We'll see if Dignitas maybe force the fight once it drops. But they're going to have to answer these waves here as well. Apollo again with the shields. Getting down into the turret. Just needs a little bit more. He's going greedy for it, but he does get it down. Sunday tries to make the play. Apollo knocked out there with the wild group, but he flashes out and now starts shooting. Someday Lyra moves Chaser out of the fight, and Seraph tanks up the front end of Keen's damage, and Nexus turret's starting to blow down.
Oh, they lost their inhibitor. They had respawned on the top side. This will be the 3rd inhibitor going down.
Yep, inhib's gonna go. Dig might be back in time to save that Nexus turret, but the super minion's gonna take it down.
That one just walked up on a mission.
Oh, it wants to bring EnVy to this final game. Chaser goes down. Lyra getting assaulted, but he repels out to safety.
Apollo's dead.
Oh, whoa, where'd he go? That's bad news. All right, well, EnVy gonna try and run out of the way. King gets ulted. Great shockwave there from Ninja. Could turn things all back around, but Ninja, he's just got no health left. Hakuo was trying to protect him, but Lot, he's able to take him down. I don't know where Apollo disappeared to, but that's a magic trick he doesn't want to repeat. Seraph still fighting it out. Lyra still looking to get in there as Expectral's kiting as best he can, but Someday, he just keeps this fight going forever.
Seraph's going for the base. He's like, I gotta go.
Someday TP's back into the minion. Now the Nexus is open. Seraph not confident with people respawning, even just in a 1v2. The Nexus open and Seraph's like, I can't do it.
EnVy, I feel like they sold their souls to the devil. They're like, we would love to have early game advantages. It's like, you can never win a team fight though. It's like, okay, unlucky. Again, that's actually a straight up loss there in the team fight in terms of how many people they lost. They get more structures because of the minions pushing, and that comes with the natural advantage, but the execution is just still off. Apollo, believe what happened was he got caught out there just slightly, and then he got kicked to the side and blown up by a lot of damage that came through. But it was, we'll see it again, I assume. As soon as they, hold on, get rid of all these minions. Yeah, so
let's have a look.
Chaser gets the one wrap around. Got the kick before the taunt, and then right into Keen's damage, Someday's damage on top of it, blown up, and he's dead before that fight even starts. Lee Sin didn't even have to sacrifice himself for that. And then Keen, good shockwave, turned around. If that shockwave doesn't come through, that's an easy cleanup there. They still have this magic damage from Keen, and that's what matters.
All right, EnVy Sorry is saying, you know what? Let's just do this the easiest way we can think of. We've still got supers in 3 lanes. We're going to take down the Baron. Dignitas nowhere near to try and take it away from them. And they don't even have to really fight now. Just walk the minions into the open Nexus and take the game. If Dignitas win this game, surely that's the biggest comeback we've ever had in the LCS. Dignitas have literally 0 turrets. None.
And they've lost so much in terms of their lanes. The Caitlyn got rotated around.
Yeah, kill Chaser. This is the right play. Make sure he doesn't kick her AD carry back again. And now Apollo's just like, yeah, I'm going to kill you. I don't want anything to do with this again. Someday commits his ultimate already. Redemption going to heal Seraph back up. EnVy should be able to take this team fight down. Chase it in for so long as Someday gets wild grip, but his GA is going to get popped. Looking for Key next. That's a good target as Seraph chases out Lot, who's almost already dead. Apollo finally takes down Someday. Next is open, and EnVy are going to try and kill the rest of them before they take it down. They're going to chase for the next few kills. They want to make sure Everyone is dead. Apollo looking for the ulti. Seraph's going to take down the Nexus. EnVy win the team fight they need to. Lod dies on the other end of the fight. That's an ace for EnVy. The Nexus goes down, and we're going to get a third game.
EnVy finally do it. They finally end the game. 44 minutes for themselves.
Pretty sure I just spotted Apollo. Big sigh of relief on that one.
I mean, he's 0-0-1 for the large majority of the game. And then eventually, just start losing team fights. You have enough of a gold advantage. Of course, the players can never see that gold advantage in the game. They have to kind of just extrapolate from the enemy doesn't have any turrets. We have 11. So they have to be able to say, all right, we're definitely stronger. But then when they had those fights, they didn't really feel like they were stronger because they were getting caught out. And it was Dignitas working from a large deficit. So it was really kind of showed Dignitas early leads for their enemy team. It was very hard for them to get back into it against EnVy, who were playing it not as risky, because we talked about Dignitas being very good as a reactionary team. And EnVy, when they weren't being very proactive and having team fights, then it was Dignitas being like, when are you going to fight us? When's it going to happen? And it just didn't happen until like near the end.
Yeah, and they're like, aha, never! That's the answer. Never force a team fight. Well, we've got our analysts standing by to break down that game, so let's throw it over.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. EnVy here, getting a victory and extending this series as well to Game 3. So both of the beginning series of the day. Moving on to that third game. But EnVy, the way they did it this time, let's talk about team composition, because if we had any questions around 7.5 and who's going to rise to dominance, Caitlyn very quickly becoming the top-tier ADC pick.
You guys sick of seeing Caitlyn take turrets at 10 minutes yet? It's so much fun. I love it.
I am not happy about the way that the ADC meta is trending right now. I was really excited about how Ezreal was coming back into it, hearing about Lucian being played. Caitlyn's the last thing I want to see be S-tier in the bot lane.
To be fair, I think a lot of times people are giving up the combo too easily. The Caitlyn Karma combo is like a very deadly combo. It used to be that you can run it with Zyra or something else, but when you think about it, what else has the wave clear early game anymore that's left? You can run Caitlyn Lulu, but if the other team has Karma and maybe like Karma Jhin, it might not be that bad.
Right.
And so I think giving teams Caitlyn Karma right now should be something that you need to be very careful about.
It's because it's one of the few like really lane dominant supportive supports, whereas like Zyra, while she was lane dominant, she was damaged. So like,
you get out of lane phase, she's not really going to help you out the whole lot.
Whereas Karma's like, here we go, going to keep shielding you over the course of the game. I'm going to go from a lane bully to more of a supportive utility champion, and then it gets harder and harder. And then
I was going to say, and then in this case, you add to it Orianna and a Shen in the top lane, and we saw the one or two times that Dig was able to win a team fight was when they could catch Apollo out, right? Get him killed before the shields come out. Any extended team fight will be won by the Caitlyn comp.
And it's a very different team comp out of EnVy than we usually see. Like, we're used to seeing Talons and Jaces and this weird stuff in the top and bot lane, and they're flexing things everywhere. Like, last game, they flexed the Karma to mid and the Mal's to heart of ball.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're always doing weird stuff. And this time, I was like, no, we're just going to pick, like, a shield comp with a Caitlyn. And it worked out well.
Well, and it feels like maybe this is the beginnings or the beginnings of a winning formula for EnVy, because this team is no stranger to having early game leads. That's been one thing that has been relatively consistent for them throughout the split, is that they do put together gold advantages from the 10 to 20 minute mark, and they're just not able to close. Well, in this situation, Scar, I feel like this team composition gives them a lot more permission to close games out in a couple different fashions because of the safety that's provided to a long-range ADC. So when it comes to sieging turrets, a lot harder to screw up.
You know, it's really interesting because even if you look at their first game, they played Karma mid lane. The biggest thing is this series, they've been putting more power toward the bot lane, a difference that they haven't done the entire season. It used to always be, oh, they got the three-man shell, they got the Ninja, the Seraph, the Lyra, that's what they're going to do every game. Now it seems like they're okay letting their bot lane do a lot of the work, and I think that might be the solution for them because their bot lane has been very consistent.
Now, on the side of Dignitas, let's talk about them real briefly. We had Lod going for the Jhin on the lethality build, so seeming to be a little bit behind the curve, at least, in terms of how we saw Jhin played yesterday, with back towards that Essence Reaver, crit build. How does Dignitas adjust now to what we're seeing in EnVy's playstyle and their draft here in Game 2?
I think a big thing that we were talking about was we always say, oh, Keen's playing a lot better. A lot of it comes because Chaser has been assisting him very well in the early game, and Chaser did not have a good game. He bumped into Lyra a couple times in his own jungle, and then the Karma would come and support, and so Chaser was kind of handing these kills over while they were kind of losing control of the game normally anyways with the pushing power of the Caitlyn. So those two things kind of comboed together.
Yeah, I think a big thing is they can just look to ban the Karma. I would say cut the combo somewhere You know, it's obvious that there's a lot of teams out there who are really confident running Caitlyn Karma because it's like, why wouldn't you be confident running the best early game duo in the game?
Right. Yeah, and of course, if we look at this game here, and not only do you have early power in the lanes, you couple that with the Elise in the jungle. No surprise that those kills are coming through early because she, you know, very adept at getting into lanes, getting early kills picked up, and he will actually be picking up player of the game, Lyra, that is, in contrast to Chaser, who did have a struggle in this game.
And I just realized they do ban out a lot of the problems that they have, and they ban out a lot of the mid laners that Ninja's been really, really good on. So maybe rather than banning away Karma, they can just take it.
I mean, they have a couple ways they can do it. I do kind of like Dig's idea of getting rid of the Talon, getting rid of the Jace, the Rumble, these kind of carry champions in the solo lanes that we see them trending towards. And I think if Chaser's able to have a little bit of a bounce back game in game 3, maybe that's all you need and you don't need to worry too much. Though I do agree their bot lane having so much pressure 2 games in a row is concerning. And so if you break up the bot lane a little bit and then continue on with kind of targeting Lyra and Ninja this way, or Ninja and Seraph this way, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, of course, EnVy does move back towards, or back to the blue side this time around. So when it comes to Dignitas maybe taking away the Karma or the Caitlyn, right, they're going to at least have the opportunity to do one of those 2 things. We'll see if EnVy decides to put such high priority on the Karma with a first pick. They did pick up the Camille in that game 1. So it will be interesting to see how they adjust because they only have that single pick, whereas Dignitas gets the 2 in the first rotation. You know, anything else you guys want to touch on in terms of these 2 squads? We know that EnVy is pretty far outside the playoff picture at this point, and that for Dignitas, this is actually looked at as an expected and a must-win in terms of really putting themselves solidly into the playoff scenarios.
Right. I think when you look at EnVy's side, like technically, mathematically, they're in the playoff.
There's some weird tiebreaker scenario where they still end up 6th.
No.
But it's so far outside.
Not at all.
You know, yeah. So yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Great. For Dignitas, though, pressure is starting to mount because expectation with this squad is building rather quickly, right? You got the whole, you know, Coach Cop coming in, you know, meme and how much he's turned the team around. We're seeing special excited about the prospects of the team. So kind of from all angles, now we've got pressure being piled on to Team Dignitas and expectation. Earlier today, we were talking about them being a 4th-place team in the LCS. They're not even there yet.
I think the big thing is that, like, the bottom of the league is not that terrible. I don't think going to a 3-game series against EnVy is, like, a joke anymore. The way, like, maybe in previous seasons, going against P1 to a 3-game series was, like, a joke. Because I mean, TSM went to a 3-game series versus EnVy. Like, everyone has played 3-game series versus EnVy recently.
Yeah, I was about to say, I can think of a couple other teams higher up in the standings that have gone to 3 games against EnVy. Well, either way, this one is going to a 3rd game. Meet us back here in a few minutes to see if Team EnVy or Dignitas come away with the victory.
Gragas, no flash. Yep.
Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I count them. Watch Victor, watch Victor, watch Victor.
Victor. I'm going on Gragas.
5, 4, 3, 2. End the game.
Go kill him,
No, kill Jin.
Yeah, kill.
Actually, just end it.
No. Let's go there. Let's go. Okay, minion OP. Oh, okay, nice. Trap house. Alright.